let me know. Live. Y'all let me know when we live. You know it ain't gonna give me no notification.
I see it say live on my side.
Oh, okay.
Say live.
We live. Okay, let me set it up over here on my side. Boom, boom, boom. And I see it starting to spin in here now. Ooh, excuse me. Live. Y'all let me know when we live. You know it ain't. All right. Hey, Sutekh, you off for probation, ain't you, man? You off for parole, ain't you?
I was just gonna say I violated my parole.
Wow. Golly, so Facebook got you back in jail.
Back in jail, bro. I can't stay. They get me for anything. They find any reason, bro. It don't make no sense.
Golly. Yeah, I'll share it in a minute. Let me go ahead and share my screen and play the video. Y'all let me know when my screen's sharing.
Yeah, it's sharing on this end.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the books is in. The books are in. Yep. In. Yeah.
Next slide, real quick. Again, but first I want to say, let me put my headphones in. Dang, right. Yeah, hold on. Yeah. I'll come back and share my screen again in just a second. I'm gonna stop sharing for a minute. All right, first I want to say ETM Hotep, Dua 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 Aku, Dua Netcher, Fatmo Alafie, Fatmo Wiwi, Fatmo Iwa Pele, Majuba Iba E Gungun, Majuba Iba E Gungun, Majuba Iba E Lakba, Majuba Iba E Lakba, Egungun Kiki Egungun. I always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors, because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. We are our ancestors. I also want to stand honor and praises to our true and living ancestors according to our African perspective. Welcome back to Kofi Piesie TV. This is the first show of many. This is the new show, Author's Perspective, where you will be learning about many things with writing, how to become an author, the layouts, how to put a book together, the process or the life of a writer, editing. It's so many different things, man, that we're gonna get into today. We're gonna get in the future, man. Before I get started, I would like to introduce the brothers on the team. Y'all ready? Whoever want to go first, man.
Yeah, peace, brother Setepp and Ra, Mary Ahmed. Hope y'all enjoyed this show today. It's the first of many, and we want to thank the brother Seanathan for coming on the panel and letting us interview him. It is a true honor. Thank you.
Sure.
Yo, say life I need peace, family, peace and blessings. Peace to everybody in the chat. Peace to all my brothers on the panel. Peace to all those that will see this in the archives. Make sure you like the show, share the show. This is something new we doing, and hopefully y'all enjoy it. Peace to the brother Seanathan. I'm gonna try to drop the links to his works in the chat as we go on. And yeah, man, take your note, take your pen and your pad out. Appreciate all y'all for coming through.
All right, peace, everybody on the panel. Peace to everybody that's tuning in and to everybody will be viewing in the archives. You know, like the brother said, we got a real treat for y'all that we're kicking off this time around. And, you know, it's always good to get another author's perspective as a newly published author. So it's a real good, you know, steel sharpens steel. We all learn from each other. And this brother has been going for quite some time doing his thing. So we want to always support cooperative economics and just cooperating, period. Like and share the show. And let's get into it.
Yes, sir. All right. So we want to introduce our first guest is blessing the show for our first show. Brother Seanathan, man, introduce yourself, man, and give the people a little background, man, on you.
Okay, but before I do that, I want to take 1 minute and have a little small fan moment, right? I told you in private, Brother Kofi, but I've been following this show for a very long time, like years, man. So it's an absolute honor and a privilege to be on this platform. You told me who you plan on bringing in behind me, and that's an incredible class of people to be amongst that class, man. So I'm totally honored, privileged, and appreciating the room right now that I'm sitting in, man. My name is Seanathan Polidore, kind of like Seanathan, but it's always mispronounced. So I go by Shawn for short, right? They call me Shawn P. I have a master's in psychology, and I'm a mental health expert. Self-published author of 3 books at the moment, and number 4 coming out probably this week coming up. Number 4 coming out, and number 5 is, I'm finishing writing number 5 like tonight. So that'd be 5 books in the chamber on Amazon.com. I spent 12 years as a public speaker, churches, organizations, schools, prisons, you name a different setting. I've done in small venues, college graduation, keynote speaking. I've done the whole range of public speaking. And 12 years as a personal trainer and bodybuilder, crossfitting, sport enthusiast, you name that kind of a background when it comes to health and wellness, man. So I try to bring all those things together in these publications and give my readers what I use to get my level of quote unquote success, whatever that might look like. But this is how I've done what I've done thus far. It's not in stone. It's not like a one-way thing, but this is what I've done to do what I've done thus far in my career. I started off like that.
Okay. Peace to those in the chat, man. Y'all please like the show. Please share the show with those that you think that may appreciate this information. Okay. So my first question is, what got you into writing and how long you've been writing before we get into your publications? Because we want you to get into your publications, each publication, explain each one of your publications.
Okay. To answer that question, what got me into writing is most of my favorite heroes were also writers. I mean, Dr. John Henry Clark and Dr. Ivan Van Sertima and Chancellor Williams, and you know, that pantheon of our great scholars, they were also writers. So I felt like I want to kind of carry that torch and be amongst that lineage. So that kind of motivated me to want to write as well, man. So I definitely been public speaking way longer than picking up that pen to write. But I realized something, when I read some of that old work, sometimes it's Elijah Muhammad's speech translated and made into a book. Sometimes it's a Dr. Clark's speech that's transliterated, transcribed and made into a book. So I was telling you one day on the phone, like, why can't I take my old presentations and speeches and make them into books as well, just like those great leaders did, man. So that's kind of how I started writing. And I wrote this first book about 3 years ago. I first started writing maybe 3.5 or 4 years ago. I started the literal writing process, man. I did a speech one time for some kids, and a lady in attendance, she owned a magazine company. And she asked me to write an article in her magazine. And writing that one article gave me the confidence, like, man, you know what? I can do this writing thing. That gave me that moxie to branch off and do it, man. It's kind of how I started writing that one article about 4 years ago. So shout out to that sister for giving me a chance.
What's the magazine?
It was called the Southern View magazine. The Southern View magazine here in Lafayette, Louisiana.
Okay. Yeah. Now you mentioned you wrote and you have 3 published works. You have another publication, which you will get into, a new publication. We'll get into that a little bit later on in the show. And just just real quick, just you kind of doing what we doing like right now. And what I mean by what we doing right now is like you're feeding the people. You're pushing out publications after publications. Like your first publication you said was 3 years ago, which was in 2017. Sir. You published 2 more after that. You published one in June, and then you published one, I think, in August.
July.
Right?
July.
Okay, June and July. Okay, June and July. Back to back.
And this one coming in August. This one coming.
This month
is coming.
Right. So
I'm
you
on
got
a mission to write 1 book per month until 21. So 1 book every month until 2021. That's my personal goal to myself.
Okay.
1 book per month.
Right. So and that's what I mean. It's we got so much coming, you know what I'm saying, before the end of this year. Like we put out our first publication May the 29th or the 28th, May the 28th. We dropped another publication just a few weeks ago. I think it was August the 14th. So within 2.5 month span, we dropped a publication. And then we have another publication coming September. We have 2 in October. We have 1 in November, and then maybe 2 in December. Go ahead.
You know my mindset, bro, and this is way before the Master P documentary came out on BET and all that. I told my team months ago, I want to have that Master P method, and you from the South as well. Remember in high school in the 90s, you in class just chilling back in the CD days, and one of your classmates got the newest Master P CD. You like, man, when that came out? Because the other one just came out last Tuesday, and now Silk the Shock out, and now that Mystical out, and now Snoop Dogg out. Like, he was just oversaturating the industry with music. So I want to do the same thing with books and literature. Just keep on coming. And it's not just me, my whole team. My business partner book came out before my book came out. His book came out probably in like May.
What's the name of his book?
I believe it was If a Giraffe Can Do It, So Can You. It's a self-help book. If a giraffe can do it, so can you. All of our books are self-help books. And there are some other guys on our team writing books as well. It's not just me. So I represent a whole collective with these books and pen publishing, kind of our flagship product. But we have other books and other products that we have besides just what you see with me.
Okay,
I'm the game, man. Here in Louisiana, nobody else doing this. Nobody else putting out work like this. I don't mean that braggadociously. I'm just saying what I see across the landscape. When we first started this, other people kind of put out some little books and they kind of had some little speeches and some little videos. But as far as the endurance, I don't see their videos anymore. I don't see them on the platform. I don't see them putting out work, and we still getting it in, man. So that's what I mean.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. And you make sure today I get your other business partners publications, because I'm gonna put your publications in the description later on after the show. So I want to make sure I put theirs in the description as well. So when they click on the video and go watch in the archives and look, they'll be able to see everything down, and they can just click and go to take them straight on to y'all publications.
That's good love. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
No problem. Yeah, so let's get into the 3 publications that you have. Your first publication, like I said, you put out in 2007. It's called What is Your Kick? The Guide to Unlocking Your Passion. This is your first publication. So talk to us a little bit about that publication and the meaning behind the title. I'm gonna ask the meaning behind all the titles, but yeah.
Of course. Always. So I'm a huge martial arts fan. I'm in martial arts currently, but ever since I was a shorty, my first love ever in the world was martial arts, right? Bruce
T'Challa.
Lee,
yeah, one of the brothers on the team, he's into it too, brother T'Challa.
Oh, I'm waiting my turn. Y'all go ahead. I'm waiting my turn.
So one of the most famous Bruce Lee quotes is, "I fear not the man that practiced 10,000 kicks. I fear the man that practiced one kick 10,000 times." So with that title and with that statement being said, we live in a time where people want to be the CD man and the T-shirt man, and I make plate lunches, and I do websites, and I make, whatever. You all over the place. Nobody want to take the time to delve deep and master anything. You want to be mediocre at a lot of stuff. So that's kind of what the nuts and bolts of the book came from. What's your real passion, and what are you going to spend 10,000 hours going deep on? That's where they come from.
Right. So all right. So you kind of already kind of explained what I was asking off the camera. So could you explain your phrase, the 10,000 hours to master your craft?
I want to give props where they do always and pay homage, right? So I didn't make that up, right? So Malcolm Gladwell in his book Outliers and Robert Greene, I love Robert Greene, in his book Mastery, both of them show like the Beatles, Albert Einstein, Da Vinci, Manny Pacquiao, you name some of the greatest in the world at what they ever did. From the time they started until the time they started to hit that crest, that peak, it came out to about a 10,000 hour put into that craft time frame. So that kind of became the groundwork of that quote and that phrase about 10,000 hours. Because studying these great people, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, you name it, Mayweather, they always talking about from being 2 and 3 years old until adulthood, they've been playing this game doing just this. Tiger Woods, Venus and Serena, Michael Jackson, we can go on and on of a list of people that spend nothing but time in doing that particular thing.
Okay. So with the 10,000 hours, you're basically saying you have to put in the time, you have to put in the hours in order to master one thing before you move on to the next one. And I totally agree. I totally agree with that.
For 3 years since the book came out, people inbox me, email me, they call me and comment on my videos like, well, Shawn, what if you get a mentor or a coach and you can bypass the $10,000? Well, Shawn, what if you got an app on your phone and you can bypass $10,000? What if you got all these little rebuttals and you can use those things to enhance a little bit, maybe accelerate a little bit, but guess what? Even after the best coaching in the world, you got to go get in that ring and get for somebody and spar. I can tell you about throwing a jab all I want. Until you throwing a jab against somebody that's trying to hit you too, you can't accelerate that. You can't bypass what that process is. So, we live in that microwave mentality these days. We want to bypass, shortcut everything. And like I said in the book at one point, in the old days, the blacksmith in the town, probably there's 3 or 4 generations of blacksmith. The carpenter and the butcher, that's what they do is woodwork, work on meat or whatever. And you had the apprenticeship phase, and you might go work for them for free for 7+ years, just being up under them, using their tools and their materials. We kind of got away from that apprenticeship. You barely ever hear that word at all anymore, apprenticeship. We need to get back into getting up under somebody and really learning what we're doing before we branch off, start our own company, and branch off, got our own logo and all this and that. Get up under somebody and learn this thing first, then you branch off.
Okay. So let's get into the book, man. You know, explain to the people, man, about you know, the book and the process of putting the book together.
Okay. So the book, the layout of the book is, I wanted my book, all of my books, to be very short, quick jabs once I get back to a fighting analogy. So I know the average person that's a non-reader, if the book is 280 pages long or 500 pages, they won't even pick it up. They won't even try. So I'm trying to make all my books concise, to the point, get the gems as possible, right? Also, at the end of every chapter, I ask the reader questions to sit down and be introspective and think about, how does this apply to my life? What am I doing? What am I not doing? What should I be doing? So the book, kind of like a workbook, is built into the book. So the book is already made for, you was talking about classes before we came on the line. The book is made for a school to use it for a curriculum. The book is made for homeschooling. The book is made for organization working with the youth to use it. The questions are already inside the book, right? And then at the end of the book, I gave a recommended reading list. So if this book happens to be your first book you ever read in your life, you have another list of books in the back of the book to go in and continue your journey. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like the template I use in almost all of my books. All of my books are pretty much laid out to a degree like that.
Okay, okay. And the butterfly effect you created, I mean, the butterfly effect is your second publication, correct?
Yes, sir. Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll explain the title and the process of putting this.
So, well, what's your kick? The first book, this might have been about 4.5 to 5 months to write this book, and then, as you know, the editing process, the cover process, just learning the process of writing the book, because nobody around me in this area was writing books. So whenever I was doing this one particular book, nobody could really advise me on, no, Shawn, make the cover like this. No, Shawn, don't do that. But the writing, I didn't have that. So I was trying to kind of fit it out by myself, my mentor and I. But the butterfly effect is a speech I did about 4 years ago to some kids. And the butterfly effect is about the power to transform your life. And what we always miss, that cocoon phase. So through religion, through society, through whatever, we are kind of taught to be afraid of the dark. We are taught to be afraid of dark places and dark things, right? Everything dark has a negative thing to it. And I speak about some of the most beautiful things in the world are birthed out of the dark. Whether you believe in the Jesus story, you know, the creation story, or the Big Bang theory, whatever, those things came from the dark. And so I lay out to the reader how some of our greatest leaders were in dark places for that incubating process, and then they emerged as the butterfly that branched off, right? It's kind of a short synopsis on what that book is about.
Okay. So like I said, I got the butterfly effect, and sure. I got the 5 laws of leadership, which we'll talk about. I hadn't read. We talk about writing, right? And we'll get a little bit more into that process of writing, because we want your perspective. Because again, this is a learning thing too for up and coming writers, authors, or those who may be interested but just don't know how to start or what the process is. So, and like I told you, go ahead.
I want to add to the butterfly effect and the 5 laws of leadership, and then my new book coming out, Expanding Your Vision. These are more so like mixtapes, right? So I look at the book world like the music world. This is a full-length album right here. This is an LP, you know, all that good stuff. These other books are like mixtapes. That's why they're Kindle only. There is no paperback to these other books. It's something I wrote real quick. We put it together, put a cover on it, boom, it's in Amazon, on to the next book. We're not spending all this time on the marketing and all the things we did with this first book. We're not doing all that. With these mixtapes, we like Lil Wayne making that mixtape run, we just putting them out. Lil Wayne, Fabulous, Jeezy, we putting the mixtapes out, man. So these new books this year are more mixtape-like. They're short, they're sweet, to the point, sometimes 45 pages, sometimes 50 pages or less is my goal. 50 pages or less. I'm not writing more than that in the mixtape. So that's why they added a good price point too, because they're smaller. I can make the price point even lower, so where more folks can afford to buy the work.
Right, and you mentioned some of the leaders that was in a dark place. You know what I'm saying? Who were some of those leaders that you mentioned?
I speak on Nelson Mandela. I speak on, of course, my favorite hero of all time is Malcolm X.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite hero of all time. And one of my close personal mentors in my life right now, Mr. Keith Nicholson here in the Lafayette area. By the way, Kofi, the brother wrote 100 books. You might want to interview him in the future. He wrote 100 books. Not small books like this. I mean, tomes. 500 pages, 700 pages, 900 pages. He did 4 years in jail. He wrote 100 books while he was in jail. So they're all handwritten books. He's in the process of transcribing them all to put them on Amazon and things of that nature.
He's in your area?
Yeah. It's my OG. We talk every day, all day, OG.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely have to make that happen. Yeah, we definitely gonna have to make that happen, man. I would like for him to come on the platform.
He's almost knocking on 60, so because of the age, he's not really on YouTube and Facebook and all that stuff. So for the past 2 years, I've been kind of trying to educate him on how to get his work out to the masses and get it out to the. It deserves it, man. He writes in all genres: sci-fi, thrillers, Western, autobiography. He got 34 children books. I mean, you name it. He's the Michael Jordan of writing, in my opinion. He's the Michael Jordan. Wow. But he's a transformation story is my point in saying it.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit more. And definitely with just you describing the book. I mean, I don't have, like I said, I got the butterfly effect and I got the five laws of leadership. I have both of those on Kindle. I'm definitely going to get What Is Your Kicks, the Guide to Unlocking the Passion. I'm gonna get that. I told you I prefer the hard copy books, more than you. But I have a great digital library too. I want
to say something for the audience and the family listening. My plan, ultimately, the big picture, I'm gonna put these mixtapes out, right? And then ultimately at the end of it, I'm gonna do a hardback compilation, putting them all in one paperback. Because a lot of folks do email me, you got a paperback? And this is not, it's not what we're doing right now. For the sake of speed and cost effectiveness, we'll get into that later, I'm sure. Instead of printing these out and paying for them per book, I can go send you to Amazon right now, and it don't cost me not 1 penny to write these books. Right. So free for me as an author. So,
Right. And we're gonna get into that a little bit.
We'll get into that, the logistics, But I do plan on doing a compilation all together project at the end of the year. We'll put it all together.
Yeah, but it's a good thing though also to do the digital copy. Before maybe about 4 or 5 months ago, I got a best friend that stay in Boston, and one of his co-workers, that's what he was doing. So he was asking me, B, why don't you get into doing a lot of these digital downloads on Amazon.com? And he was explaining the upsides of him, because the guy was explaining to him how he got in certain areas with these books and how easy it was to put the books out. And so go ahead.
Be sweet, man. The process of publishing the book, right? So for this, for example, for the audience, for the paperback, hardback, whatever you're gonna do, when you send it off to Amazon or whoever to get printed and published and all that can take weeks, as you know. Mm-hmm. On Kindle, my business partner might post it at 3 o'clock, right? Tonight, it's live on Amazon to go and download right now. In a matter of hours, I go from uploading it to I'm selling books. I'm pre-selling. I'm shooting out books the same night. So I mean, it's kind of hard to do that.
Yeah, you're right. So let's talk about your third publication that you got out right now, the 5 Laws of Leadership.
5 Laws. Yes. So the 5 Laws of Leadership is the speech I did about 3 years ago, a leadership company. So this sister out here in Lafayette, Louisiana, Miss Erica Williams, give her props. She has the New Vision Leadership Group, and every year she has a group of teenagers, mostly African-American kids, and she asked me to do a speech to the kids about leadership. So I felt that these 5 principles, these 5 laws were key aspects of every great leader, in my opinion, once again. So I took that speech once again and I made it into a full-length, full-out book project, man. And very excited about it. Got a lot of good feedback on it. The book came out like on, let's say, a Sunday evening, and Tuesday morning, it was Amazon.com's #1 in the new release category, man.
Yeah, I remember.
I was excited. I was at work when it happened. I was in the parking lot screaming, like, for an author, being from where I'm from and the environment where I'm from, to be #1 on a platform like Amazon, that's to the grave, man. That's a big deal to a person like me. You know what I'm saying? So I was totally honored behind the Amazon spot.
Yeah, I was happy for you, man, when you text me, man, and you told me, man. I'm always happy.
Still smiling about it.
Yeah, I'm always happy to see us doing good, man. So I was excited, man, when you told me like it was my book, and that's just how I am, man. So yeah.
Let me add this in there, right? So the original title wasn't the 5 laws of leadership. It became the 5 laws because I'm looking at marketing and business, right? Back to the future authors. You can't just name a book any old thing. You got to think about the logistics of it, right? So you got the 7 habits of successful people. You got the 48 laws of power. You got the 33 strategies of war. And so many of these number themes, the 50th law. So I'm like, why wouldn't I use a number theme if the number theme clearly works? So the book was named something else, and then it became the 5 laws of leadership. Like at the end of it, end of the writing process, the name changed at the end of it.
Right.
Hey, real quick, I want to ask, have you heard about the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz?
Yes.
Right,
sure.
right. I know a lot of people ain't up on that one, but that's an essential read in my opinion.
A lot of my friends love that book, and I also own the companion to that book, the little companion that go with it. I got that companion jump off of the 4 Agreements. Yeah, man. Back to the numbers, the number game,
Yeah. So let's get back into the process, man.
Okay. I love that topic. It's my favorite topic.
So for the listening audience and for those that may be watching in the archive, because like you said, we was talking and you were saying that you get numerous of people, myself too, far as, man, asking questions on like, how do you put it? Because I'll be honest with you, up until might have been February, April, February, January, February, March. Up until January, I had questions about books too. I have done, and the team has done numerous of presentations. We have done numerous, so it's nothing for us to get on there and put together a PowerPoint. You know what I'm saying? But when it came to writing, we are all new authors. We have 2 publications out, and we still fairly new to the game. We only been published authors for 4.5 months, but we accomplished a lot within those 4.5 months. We have 2 publications out within the span of the 4.5 months, and we have our first publication that is in Gambia right now at the the Gate and Journal Skills Academy down in West Africa, and then we're working on this charter school. It being the first book being part of the curriculum, and maybe getting part 2 down there. So yeah, appreciate it. And so I had questions, and up until 6 months ago, I had questions on how to put it, and I had access to I have access to Asar, Imhotep, Benjamin Njie, Unc West, or Wuja, Iri Ma'at. Some of these, I'm naming some of these guys that they are authors that have many publications out, and I respect them. Right. So I respect these guys, and I could have just asked, but I just always wondered. I never did ask, but I was like, man, and then we after T'Challa presented an idea for the book, putting the book together, we got together and we ran with it, but it was trial and error. It was definitely trial and error, and I didn't know, or we didn't know, the process, of putting together a book and how much hard work it goes into putting a book together. So let's start off with your first work. What was like that process? Was it like, and what I'm saying is like, it takes people months. Sometimes it takes people years to, going through the process of put out a publication. So like, can you explain to the audience like what was your process putting the good under the good? How many hours it was? Was it the ideas flowing fluently? Did you have a team behind you? How did you come up with the concept for the book? How you put the book together? You know, the editing process. Do you do the editing process? How to do the editing process, or who you recommend to do the editing process, and so forth?
I'll try to keep that condensed as I can for the sake of time, right? But
okay.
What I did was, and I've done plenty of videos on my platform about this, I do not hoard information. I do not keep secrets. You're my platform a good bit, my brother. I share everything. I just give everything. I give it. Mm-hmm. So at the time I was writing this book, I was doing plenty of videos about what I was doing in real time. So how this all came about, I went to a local library. I had an idea in my mind for the title. I took a sheet of paper and turned it sideways, horizontal. Put the title in the middle of the paper, put a circle around it. And I started doing what they call a word web. I thought to myself, what do I want to say about this topic? Instead of branching off, boom, that bubble, that bubble, that bubble. And before you know it, I have these 11, 12 chapters. And then per bubble, what do I want to say about that? And then branch off. And before you know it, I have subtitles. So before you know it, I got a whole sheet of paper with a bunch of ideas and webs and words already laid out for me. So I took that word web, took another piece of paper, and then I made a classical outline, you know, a formal outline, you know, title, you know, 1A, 1B, all that good stuff we all know from school. So that means every time I sat down to write, I knew that day specifically what I want to write about and what I want to talk about. It was never me sitting in front of the laptop like, what's today going to be about? Like, I know when I sit down at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, I'm writing about this topic specifically, and I know where I want to go with it. So it kind of gave me a way to avoid writer's block, the quote unquote writer's block. I had a format and a layout every time I sat to write. I knew where I was going. And that gave me a bit more speed on the writing.
Okay, so it seems like you do what I do. Like, I ain't even got my darn book bag in there. So I
was just trying to make a little small diagram to show it.
Right. I want it because I kind of do the same thing is my ideas. I write my ideals down, like, and that's what I have known. Then that's what I developed, you know, that's what I developed over time in these months was how I do my process. And I know, and I'll let the brothers on the other team, you know, talk about their process as well. Go ahead.
Let me say something. So my business partner and my brother, Cliff Roy Jr., his process is totally different.
Right.
I mean, incredibly, ridiculously different. And my OG, Mr. Key, with the 100 books, his process is a whole universe different than that. So we have to all identify and acknowledge it's like the Wu-Tang Clan, you know? I'm sure Method Man not writing like Raekwon, I'm sure they're not. So that's your style and this your style, but we all one team and we all gonna rock together. We rock together, you know?
Mm-hmm. Right. And I definitely, that's what I do. I've got to where I just jot. Well, I keep tablets. I keep a book bag. No matter where I go, I keep a book bag with me now because my passion has come to be about writing. And within the last 6 months, I have been constantly nonstop writing. The team has been constantly nonstop writing because we've been writing these publications, and then we've been writing for another publication that's coming soon by our brother Benjamin Njie, the Killmonger's Corner, Part 2, the Pan African Journal. So we just been constantly writing. So go ahead. You don't have to. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I want to cut you off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what I want to say to the listeners is, in my book that I'm writing right now, the 5th book, it's called The Anatomy of a Book. Mm-hmm. And I'm breaking down what is the foreword, what is the introduction, what is a prologue, what is an epilogue, what is this and that. And I'm showing the readers You go into a different pocket of thought when I'm writing a different part. So if you say, Brother Shawn, you know what, you're a cool brother, I like you a lot, write me a forward for this book, I gotta go into a whole different pocket than whenever I'm writing my own stuff in my own book.
Right, that's correct.
So writing for somebody else is almost harder than writing my own stuff. Whenever my homeboy says, Shawn, write me an introduction. Shawn, write me an afterword. I'm thinking to myself, like, man, because I want my stuff to be on par with your stuff. I don't want to disappoint. I don't want to let you down, but at the same time, I can't outshine you either. It's like asking Jay-Z to be on one of your tracks for a song. Jay-Z might straight smash whatever you gonna say on your own song. You don't want to do that to somebody else's work. So you kind of gotta find a rhythm and a flow to write in the right pocket to where it's good enough, but you're not smashing them either. So it's difficult more than it would have seemed. And I had to learn that as an author. I had to learn that. Yeah. Even in this book, right? My forward, my mentor did my forward. Anthony, you probably can't see it. Anthony Bell did my forward in this book. He smashed the forward. He smashed it. And he wrote it way before I wrote my part to the book. I'm thinking to myself, like, how am I going to write and keep up with that? And it's my first book, my first time writing. His forward is like Vince Carter. I'm like, man. But that's kind of what writing is, man. It's like hip hop, man. It's like rap. And we all competitive. We all competitive.
Right, right. And we'll get back. That one, the forward. You mentioned forward of introduction. So what is your process of picking? Because you have someone who did in your other publications as well, right? So what is your process? How do you go about picking certain people to write an introduction or write a forward or dedicated forward or a prologue for your book? Your books.
Ask that question, bro. If you would not have asked that question, I might have missed that particular important gem for me. So in all of my books, I try to find people that have never written before in their life. They've never published anything before in their life. I try to find somebody that I feel is an upstanding person. They have great qualities. They just never written anything. And I want them to write to get that feeling of what the process like. That's how I feel seeing my name on Amazon. That's how I feel somebody holding the book and they quoting my name. That's how I feel seeing my name on paper. And hopefully it gives them enough courage to go and write their own books. So it's kind of like Russell Simmons with Def Comedy Jam back in the 90s. Like, I'm giving these comedians a platform to be seen, and then they all took off in their own writing. Their career is what it is. So I'm doing that in the literature world. I'm giving these 9 writers a chance to see if I to be a published writer, man. So in my next book, my mom writing my afterword. My mom is writing the afterword, man. She's never published before in her life. Avid reader, former librarian, you name it. And I'm giving her a chance on my platform to finally be a writer.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what we doing over here too. The first book, the forward, the dedicated forward, it was by published authors, but they was by somebody that, you know, I could say my teacher, someone that inspires me, not only inspires me, but inspires the whole team in general. Book volume 2 that's out right now. We put a brother in there, Brother Jehudi Ma'at, and one of the great minds that's coming real soon. He's actually working on his book right now. And he's also a part of the Mossi warrior clan, too. That's Brother Nahisi. So we have them with the dedicated forward and the forward. And then we have some surprises for volume 3 that we're currently working on right now. And the people that is writing the dedicated forward and the forward also, well, one of them, I can say one of them has a published work because we're going to interview this sister pretty soon. But the other person does not, the other 2 people does not have. And so we're trying to give opportunities to people, especially in our surrounding families, the Mossi warrior clan, Kofi Piesie, well, Kofi Piesie, our research team, the Amun-Ra Squad, even though majority of the people in the Amun-Ra Squad have publications out. And even in the Mossi warrior clan, Ben, as well as Amun-Ra, I remember Ra, he has 5 publications out, but we're trying to give other people within those groups a chance to.
I want to see where that concept came from, right? Back to the old classic guys I'm talking about. As I was reading Dr. John Henry Clark's book, I realized something. Hold on. So Dr. Renoku Rashidi did the editing for this book. Who the world is that? So I go and search this brother and start finding his books. And then I look at it and realize, now, hold on. Dr. Ivan Suleiman did the forward of this book. Well, who is that? Then I start to find that brother. Wow, you mean so-and-so edited this book. So it's like a rabbit hole as you write, a different person writing in these books, and you do the research on who is that person. They got their own catalog of books. So hopefully I'm doing the same thing with these people. You'll read a forward like, man, that's a pretty high forward. Who is this person? Let me find them on social media. Let me find them on Google and see what else they got out. Videos or books or something. So kind of where the inspiration came from is the old classic OGs, man. They were all united. They wasn't all beefed out and trying to go at each other. They were together. Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark and Dr. Chancellor Williams and whoever, they rocking together, man.
Right, and I messed up. I jumped so excited. I jumped right into the show. I didn't even do, like you mentioned, John Henry Clark. This brother ran with John Henry Clark that I wanted to dedicate the show to, and that is, and I'll do that at the end of the show. I should have did it at the beginning because each show, like I said, we'll be dedicating the show to a particular author, whether he's deceased or he's amongst the living, just to pay homage to those people. So we did Asa G. Hilliard was that we're dedicating this show to. That's Asa G. Hilliard. He has many publications. I'll run them down in a little bit, and run them down real quick, and kind of get y'all familiar if y'all don't know who Asa G. Hilliard were. But he also ran with Ben, Dr. Ben, and John Henry Clark. Go ahead, Shawn.
Before you flip the topic, to finish answering that question of how I pick the person, of course, my books are self-help books. So every title I have, I'm thinking to myself, who do I know in the area that dealt with this particular thing? So the 5 laws of leadership, you better believe the people writing in that book, I feel they're great leaders, whether that be fathers in the community, business. These people that's writing in that book are great leaders. My 6th book, The Challenge to Change, the people writing in that book, I'm talking to them already, they have overcome some crazy odds, being in the street world, going to jail, even being homeless, whatever it might be, they have overcome that. So they're writing in The Challenge to Change. So based on the title and the content, I'm thinking of who's that applied to, and I'm going to them to write some more.
Okay. Before I move on with my further questions, any of the brothers on the panel, man, y'all got anything, man? And I see Pure Black, he says, what is your favorite subject to write about?
Okay. My favorite subject, I mean, once again, I'm a self-help person. So I love trying to help everyday people crack the code on life, basically. Like, I see certain things, observing social media, observing at my job, talking to employees, and I work in the mental health field, by the way. So I work at a psych ward. So I'm around people that's homicidal, suicidal, bipolar, schizophrenic, you name it. I'm talking to these people for 40 hours a week, and I'm observing, like, what's hanging them up? And so I try to write about possible solutions to what I see tripping up everyday, ordinary people, man, basically. And my life, of course.
Okay. And you said I think earlier on in the show, you said you have a degree in psychology?
Yes.
Okay, and that makes sense.
That's
right, because he has, yes, right. Wow, that's crazy, and I did a wow. Right, wow.
Whenever you get to that point, I'll speak on that, but guess what? My whole time in my bachelor's and master's degree, they never ever mention anybody like Asa G. Hilliard, Dr. Wayne Nobles, Dr. Chris Wilson, Dr. Akbar. We can go on and on. It's kind of a social media joke now, but Dr. Umar Johnson, right? When I first came around about 12 whatever years ago, and he wasn't necessarily a punchline like he is kind of now, he really got me into psychology, bro. Dr. Umar Johnson. I had never seen a black man talk about our day-to-day issues in that way before until I started watching the old Dr. Umar videos, man. So I changed my major. I was a business major at first, my associate's in business. But when I saw him, I said, no, I'm changing my major. I'm going to get into psychology. So I still got to salute that brother, no matter how you feel about it currently.
Right.
Like 12 years ago, I got to salute. That's how I made that choice. And that's how I write these books.
Right.
Salute that.
Right. No doubt. Like I said, before I move any further, any of your brothers, man, on the panel, man, got any questions, man? For Shawn, because we all been pronouncing his name wrong.
It's all good. It's been 38 years of that, man. 38 years.
Oh, right. All right.
It's like, whatever.
Yeah, I got a question. You touched on how you come up with like the process for your chapters, but what is the process for like your main subject of your books? What's the process of you coming up with that?
Once again, most of my books I'm putting out, there were previous speeches I did 3 and 4 and 10 years ago, man. So I'm not really trying to sit up there and conjure up like recreating the wheel. I'm only trying to figure out how do I make a speech into a book. That's why I told Brother Kofi offline, you guys, you brothers, y'all have so many PowerPoints and things out there. Y'all might be sitting on 100 books right now. Between y'all self. There could be 100 books between y'all because y'all have done so much in the past. It's just how do I take these slides and make them into publication? So, these are speeches, my brother. So to answer that question, certain schools, organizations, they call me and I ask them, okay, what do y'all want to focus on? They might say, Shawn, our kids having a hard time with the standardized tests. Or Shawn, our kids having a hard time with bullying right now. It's a lot of bullying going on at school for some reason. And so my topics come off of what the school is telling me they need addressed,
Okay, one more question. Is it ever a time that you felt like you wanted to just give up and quit? And how did you come through? How did you overcome that or something?
Never. Brother Kofi and I talk a good bit offline, man. Now, I keep on saying that over and over. We talk a good bit offline, but I was saying about when I first started doing my book vending events, and the money you spend on buying 100 books or 200 books, if you go and buy a big old nice tablecloth and a full-length banner and the flyers and all that, you spend hundreds of dollars, but you plan on a re-up. And then you go to the venue with your own gas money, you set everything up, and you're trying to be nice and talk to people, and you don't sell any books at all, 0. I was in a parking lot in my car with a box of books at midnight by myself crying. I'll never forget it. 3 years ago, I was in my car in the parking lot crying. I was devastated. I was crushed. I had did all the workout flyers and promotional videos. Whatever I was asked to do, I did it, and it didn't yield anything for me. I was crushed. But even within that frustration, the thought was never about like not doing this, like quitting. I could never do that. Cause I love public speaking so much. I love writing so much. My love for it goes beyond if I sell a book or not. And my family not always at my events. My classmates from school not always buying my work. People I used to live with literally haven't bought my work. People I knew from kindergarten haven't read my work. I told Kofi that a couple of days ago. We talked about that in private.
Right.
The support you expect versus what actually happens. It's different. So I had total strangers buy 5 copies of my book at a time. I had total strangers buy a box of books at one time. Not people I knew from 20 years ago. That hurt me a lot. But it's a part of this. You gotta have tough skin. Tough skin.
That was another question.
When you praising reviews, that happens.
That was another question I was gonna ask too. If you had like somebody or certain people that you expected to support you that didn't, and how you felt about that.
You feel, we here on the platform, right? You feel, like we say in the hood, you feel played. You feel played because you sit down with a pen and paper trying to do projections and you writing down, okay, who gonna buy the book? They gonna buy one, they gonna buy one, they gonna buy one. These are 20 a piece, right? These 20 a piece. So I'm counting. I'm counting before, I'm counting the chickens. And then whenever it don't happen like that, it's like, wow, bro, I can't believe. And guess what? You see those same people at the grocery store. You see those same people in your inbox about something else. You see those same people when you're in the mall with your wife and your family, and they dap, oh yeah, I saw that book thing and all that. And they swore to God they're buying 3 copies, but they didn't. You send that PayPal link to them, and they just ignore it. They ignore the PayPal. They ignore the Cash App. I mean, we see that. And it hurt. It's devastating, bro.
Yeah, it definitely. Yeah, it definitely, man. It's definitely. You also see who with you and who against you. You know, with that, and that's what
physical product shows that, bro.
Right, and that's what we have seen. Like, and I'm just speaking for me, and the other brothers can speak for themselves if they want to. We we have 2 publications, and the first publication, just like you said, man, I'm knowing that these group of people going, and I'm not talking about just the family aspect. I'm talking about the people that's in our immediate circle, the people that's on our pages, the people that's watch our videos, share our videos. Okay, I know they're gonna do it. It's even, even some I would say my teachers. Okay, I know my teacher gonna be happy for me for X, Y, and Z. So I know he's gonna get a copy. I know he's gonna speak about it. I know he's gonna share about it because he want me to be, or she want me to be successful just like they are. So, and they want me to be, or even want me, because my main objective is, even when I start the class next year, is I want people to be better than I am. So it's not about me outshining another individual or thinking another individual going to take something from me. I want them to be successful. I want them to be more successful than I am. I want them to be more smarter, more intellectual than I am. I want them, so I want all these things for these people, right? But when we put out the same thing, we face some of the same things where we counted certain people that we knew without a shadow of a doubt was going to support us. We're going to tell people about the work. You know what I'm saying? They let us down, and I'm speaking for me. I'm still taking a lot of those things personal. I'm taking a lot of it personal because I'm taking it personally is because even now outside of my family, but the family far as the teams, the teachers, and other certain things is I support these people, right? We support these people. So it's all about reciprocity. So if I support you, you should be able to support me. But a lot of people get to the point where they want you to support them, but they don't want to support you. It's all about them and them only. You know what I'm saying? So, and even with that, I make sacrifices. We make sacrifices. I buy stuff at times when, brother, I'm down to my last $100 or $150, but it was like, okay, well, I got to support this person. Especially now, okay, well, this brother bought volume 1 and brought volume 2. So when they shoot me the link or they tell me I'm gonna get it, and another elder that I'm trying to get on is Maku Mkizi and Olitanji, which I'm definitely gonna get them on the show because they have a new publication. When he signed me the link to his book, it wasn't no, I'll get it later. I went straight to the link and I bought the book because shoot, that brother, when I shot him the link, he didn't say, I'll get you next week, or I don't know when I'm gonna get you, and told me a lie and never bought the book. He was a man of his word. He bought the book. Then he turned around and he bought volume 2. So I gotta support these people. Even if I'm down to my last, it's about us helping one another, man. So we've been there with you, bro. Yeah.
You said the major piece about supporting other people. I know that principle. So as I was writing this book, I was attending other people's book signing. Even if I didn't care about their book, I'm gonna go to the book signing, I'm gonna show love, I'm gonna buy the book, I'm gonna take the pictures, I'm gonna post it on my platforms. I'm buying other products from other people. I'm coming out to the events. I'm a real to myself person, actually. But for the sake of business, I'm going to these different events. I don't want to go to the event. I'm gonna get up, get dressed. I'm going over here and show my face and show support, show camaraderie. And whenever that's not reciprocated, you do feel kind of, you take it personal. Yeah. It is personal. So this right here, man, my brother Peter collection, he out there vending with his queen and selling pieces. I went and bought me a piece. Your book came out, I bought your book. My book came out, you bought my book. It's a big old virtual app, you know what I'm saying? And whenever that's not full circle, you feel some kind of way about that.
Yes, that's right.
But it is a part of being an author. It is important.
Yes, it is. It is.
Let me ask you a question, because all y'all writers now, what's more important, a person buying your work or a person reading your work?
A person reading the work. Person reading the work. Yep.
Because some folks, they give you a 20 because they support you as a man. You, Kofi, I see what you do on your platform. This 20 is for that, what you're doing. It's not about this literal publication. So I see people 3 years later that I know bought the book. I said, man, how the book was? Oh, I ain't finished reading it yet. How the book was? Oh, man, I ain't never got around to it. Like, dang, it's 145 pages. You can read 145 pages? But I know it wasn't about the book. They was just showing me as a man, Shawn, I see what you're doing with the kids and what you're doing with the schools and the jails and all that. Take that 20 to support your movement, not about work. When a person reads the work, that really touched my heart, man. When they said, man, Shawn, on page 37, whenever you said this, and they find a discrepancy, right? Because if you find an error in the book, that means you read the book.
Right.
Man, on page 79, it should have been a comma right there. I take that critique.
Right.
79 pages to catch that? Wow, I appreciate that. That's good looking out.
Right.
At least you read it,
Yeah. Any of your brothers, man, before we move on with a few more questions, man. Any Sutekh, T'Challa, y'all got a question for
I got
the
a few. Yeah, I got just a couple quick points. You know, Brother Shawn, like yourself, I've been around self-defense. You know, it runs in the family. Got, you know, an uncle who had a school over here on the west side of Chicago. And just the philosophy that people don't understand when you go through that. Because see, physical combat sports, whether it's boxing, which is a martial art in itself, or when you're dealing with martial arts as they title it as a whole, that joint is 80% mental. 80% mental and 20% physical.
I agree.
And you know, when you you kind of got into a few things, like you talk about the jab, which is the #1 punch in boxing. And it's probably one of the first things you're gonna learn in the art of self-defense besides your stance. Gotta have a decent stance. And so one of the first strikes you're probably gonna be able to throw with defending yourself, you out in public and somebody crossed the line, you square up. What's the first thing you doing to go? What's the guard dog? It's the jab, it's the guard dog, right?
That range.
Right. So you get that respect right away. Like, let me show you something. What's going on? You know?
Let me touch you right quick. Let me touch you.
Right. And so we're writing, as an author, you know, I kind of look at you constantly pumping out these publications as like the ones you got on Kindle. Like, yo, this is a quick jab this month. This is a quick jab. We're going to jab you all the way to the end of the year to set up, because the jab do what? It sets you up. Right. So with it, see, that's the thing, why it's 80% mental, is because you're going to have people that's going, we do what's called, we're going to roll under that hook, and we're going to duck and dodge you, right? We're going to make sure right. So if you got a nice little decent defense and I got a jab that's keeping it out there, but you moving around that jab, you ducking my publications by not reading it. You see what I'm saying? You ducking that, right? And that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
And oh, go ahead.
That was deep, brother. That was deep. I like that connection right there. That was deep.
Thank you. I just, you know, it's just the way I think in terms of, because everybody don't do what I do. Everybody's not me. Like, people don't look when you know, like you practice, right? Your chi is flowing, your ki every day. You see what I'm saying? Every punch has a ki behind it, whether it's breathing and boxing with you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, every martial art has it. And once again, to the constant publication, not only are you keeping that jab out there, but there's different types of jabs. So I typically throw within a day's time, I'm getting 500 to 1,000 strikes. I don't care if it's my birthday, Jesus' birthday. I don't care what day it is. I'm getting 500 to 1,000 strikes because that's what I have to do for me based on what I've been through in my life and what I constantly go through. You see what I'm saying? So if you're not, go ahead.
I was gonna say to the panel, I mentioned my OG, Mr. Key, with the 100 books. That man literally writes about 8 to 12 hours a day, every day. I've been knowing him for 2 years, 2 summers. I've been knowing that dude. He has no vehicle, right? He walks. I can't explain how far he walking in Louisiana in the heat. Walk to the library, he doing 2 a days, bro. That man just writing all day and night. That man just write, bro. And all I'm on the phone, either he just finished writing or he going to write. But he getting that 10,000 hours. He getting that 500 strikes you just talked about. He doing that writing every day like it's a job. He is self-employed. He has no employer. He get out that bed in the morning as if he going to somebody's job for real, going to clock home. He writing like that. He take a lunch break, and he walk back to the library again, day and night, by himself, all year long, bro. 10,000 hours. I can't.
And that's what. And last thing, that's what, to tie into that point, was what another thing that Bruce talks about, and you can find this if you're studying your own culture as a Black man. So many folklore, what they call myths in the West, but the stories that the griots passed down, there's a certain fluidity to the kora being played or the balafon being played while you got, the women coming out doing their thing with the raffia and the pom-pom belts. You got the brothers in the back waiting to play their drums after the balafon finished the intro. And so all of this fluidity of this water flowing together, you got some waves that crash and hit you hard. You got some of the water that's flowing like a stream in between your toes and down by your ankles if you're standing in a river. You got some of the water that just come like Niagara Falls and it just sweep you off your feet, like some of the work that these great ancestors have put forward that is inspired us to do, like the Richard Wrights. You have a Richard Wright personally that you know. You see what I'm saying? That have written so many publications. And so what we have to be is like water. We have to be able to bend. If the world is going to expand on you and it seems like the world want to get bigger than you, then you go ahead and contract and you get in that Mayweather Philly shell defense and you go ahead and you curl up. And when he throw that jab and you shoulder roll and that right hand and you come back, man, that's why he was so accurate, because he was able to time you. You see what I'm saying? And when the world when you start to get a little, you see, okay, you backing him up, you getting him up off the ropes. You might use your footwork and your angles and you come around him and now he on the ropes. So you put the world on the ropes and you expand on the world and make the world shrink for you. And that's what I feel like we have to all do.
It's so amazing, my brothers. I respect y'all and I love y'all so much because y'all doing something that I want to do ultimately, right? So we talk about that whole setup, the whole year, the small projects. I want to ultimately write a big, fat, huge, very scholarly, full with footnotes and a big old index in the back kind of book in the future. I want to do that. But I knew in the area where I live at, I couldn't come out the gate like that. I knew I couldn't come out like that. And to get to some of these schools and prisons, I couldn't come on that angle like that, very Africanized, very, in your face coming with the information. They wouldn't even let me in the school like that. So I come with the self-help, I come with different angles, and I sprinkle certain things in there, right? I put that medicine inside that Jolly Rancher and get their palate wet and get their confidence and and then I'm coming to overhand, right? Boom, they'll be like, man, what's gonna come from that? Where that from? 500-page book, and it's gonna be a big old fat, scholarly, African historic piece, you know what I'm saying? But I couldn't come out like that. But I love the way that y'all guys came out swinging. I love how y'all doing it. And y'all still getting in the schools anyway. Y'all still going abroad anyway. When I started 4 or 5 years ago, I didn't see a way for me to come out like that and not be looked at as the angry Black man, or you just a typical guy talking about these African concepts. I didn't see a way to go into the school like that back then. So I'm kind of charting my own path, you know what I'm saying? I'm giving them a jab, setting them up. I'm setting them up. It's gonna come when it comes, you know?
No doubt, no doubt. So Tip, you got anything, man, before I move on? You got any questions for Brother Shawn?
Nah, man, I'm just enjoying the build, man. I'm enjoying the build.
Okay. Where I want to go, man. Okay. Man, I got so many. Let me see where I want to start it. And we ain't gonna be too much longer neither. That's let me see, man. Okay, well, we kind of, some of these questions I already kind of knew we was gonna already get into. Well, let's get into real quick, man, the books real quick. Back to the first book, What is a Kick and the Guide to Unlocking Your Passions, the Butterfly Effect, and the 5 Laws of Leadership. Let's just go back into the process a little bit more. What was the time, the time strenuous in putting the book together? Was does it take you, like, let's just start with the first one. How long did it take you to actually put the book together? Just to give some people some understanding of how long it takes to put these books together. But it's different for different authors.
Yeah, I had a night job 3 years ago, right? Once again, back in mental health, I had a job at a recovery place for people dealing with addiction, right? But at about 10 o'clock, those patients go to bed. So from 10 at night until 6 the next morning, I have the whole night to do whatever I want to do. So I wrote What's Your Kick mostly at work on these shifts, man. So it took me about, like I said, 4.5 months to write What's Your Kick. And it only took me 4.5 because toward the end of writing that book, we had a tragedy in our family, man. Somebody was slain in our family. So, you know, the grieving process and things like that, man. But had that not happened, I might have written What's Your Kick in about 3 months. You know, who knows, you know, but it took me about a good 4.5. But like I said, I had a set out outline, and every time I went to write, I was writing a chapter per session almost. That's my personal, what I try to do, I'm trying to write a chapter a night, if I can help it. That's my personal goal. I did a video on that a couple weeks ago, everybody different. Some folks do a paragraph a night, some folks do a couple of sentences a night. It's up to a person's discretion, but for me, I want a whole entire chapter per night because I'm in a certain stream of consciousness in that moment. I don't want to come in here and start on something else, so I want to get that whole chapter out tonight if I can help it.
Right, so to the listening audience out there, you can have a full-time job and be able to write a book. Basically, is what Seanathan is saying, because we all have other responsibilities that we have going on, jobs, wives, kids, other business adventures, and so forth. But it's about being dedicated, you know what I'm saying, and going back to the time, that time factor. That's why that is so important to me when, you know, I wanted you to talk about those 10,000 hours, you know, and, you know, because it comes with dedication. It comes with putting in the time, putting in those hours to accomplish what you want to accomplish. But go ahead, I didn't mean to cut you.
You're good, my brother. So let me tell y'all this. I gave y'all a piece of that story. That night job was my second job. I had a day job.
Wow.
You know, I had a day job going counsel kids at their homes or at their schools in the community. That was my day job. The counseling, the addiction job was at night. And I was in school for my master program. So all of my friends around me, they said, Shawn, why would you want to write a book when you have 2 full-time jobs, you're going for a graduate degree, and you got a wife and 3 kids? That was my plea at the time. But that's why being in that night job was so good, because my wife at home sleep, my kids at home sleep. It take these hours and just focus on focus. But even right now, writing these books, recently, I'm writing these books at my job. So my coworkers, no knock on them, I love everybody at my job, but that's their own discretion. They watching YouTube, they watching Netflix, they watching music videos, they watching whatever they watching, do. But with their time, I'm sitting there with the laptop writing or reading. So what you do with your time?
Right. So it's no excuses, you know. You know, there's no excuses, man.
If it's something you really want, you gotta do that.
Right, exactly.
And look where I'm at right now on a Sunday. I'm doing this This is a part of being an author, is doing the interviews, doing the podcast, doing all that. My wife's at home right now. So it sometimes takes having that time from your family. Man, when I did this, I was on a run, bro. Like I was doing so many interviews, TV shows, radio interviews, schools, and that wasn't local. So I was always driving from the crib. I was always going, doing that stretch, you know what I'm saying? But it took my wife to understand that and my kids to understand that. And I was chasing the dream, man. Chasing the dream.
That touch on another one of my questions. What is your favorite or most effective forms of advertising?
Of course, the social media, man, because it's free. So, I mean, my man, I mean, look, think about it, fellas. I'm an everyday working guy. I'm not rich. I don't have all this money. So I'm writing books. In Kindle, I can upload and publish books for free. I'm not a rich guy, once again. I can't afford to pay some big marketing team and all that. And so social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that, that's free. Why wouldn't I utilize and maximize that? So I took the proper time to build my platform and build my audience. And man, I sold hundreds of books via inbox, hundreds. I sold hundreds of books via Facebook inbox. There's no lie. Hand to the sky, like they say. Straight PayPal, Cash App, Facebook. I did so much of my marketing.
So dealing with the publishing, you know, just again for the listening audience and for people, okay, because people under the conception that you have to go get the publishers, you know, you got to go with this company, you said you publish your book for free, right? So you publish your book through the KDP Amazon, right? Which is a free. Could you kind of explain that process for people that maybe want to deal with going that route or using the free, which I advise because we doing the same thing, using whether you doing a download, a Kindle download, or a hard copy, it is free through the KDP Amazon. Can you kind of walk the audience through the process of?
Yes. So our company, that's PEN Publishing, right? PEN, P-E-N, as the Personal Empowerment Network, as me and my business partner, Cliff, right? Our company, we help guide people with all the process from generating the idea to the writing process, to the editing process, the format, layout, the cover, and ultimately publishing the book. So yes, you can go to find a publishing company, and they might charge you $4,500, they might charge you $5,000, whatever their pay is going to be. But with the Kindle direct publishing, you get all the templates and the formats to make your own book and upload it into Kindle format. And if you want, you can make those books into hard copy, paperback books. So the amount of pages your book is going to determine how much it costs per book to print. So let's say hypothetically, my book is 145 pages. It might cost me $2.55 per book, and my price point is $20. Because when I'm vending out there, I don't want to be carrying around all these singles and fives and all that. So I made it 20 because it's easier to just take a 20 and so I made that price for vending purposes when I'm on the road going around. I want it to be $14.57. And I need all this change, you know what I'm saying? So I made my price point. And in Kindle, the book is $10, $10 in Kindle. And then my newer books are $2.99 in Kindle. So very affordable. $2.99, you can go and download any book I have right now. And every once in a while, I do Kindle specials. And I make this book 99 cents. I've done it all the time. Every once in a while, I bring the price point down for a weekend. 99 cents, you can have it. So I ain't trying to hoard nothing. So, boom. Right. But I told you earlier in this process that the publishing game is like hip hop. Back in the 90s and all that, you needed cash money to want to sign you, or Bad Boy, or Death Row. But now, these kids like, man, I don't need none of that. I'm my own CEO. I'm going to upload to Spotify and what do you call that? Dat Piff and all these other kind of platforms. We don't need these majors no more. So the same thing in the book world, I don't need Penguin Publishing and Random House and I don't need y'all no more. I can do my own thing.
Right. And
I
again,
just have
like,
one problem.
what's
I have one problem. Maybe y'all can figure it out, or maybe you know somebody that knows it. Trying to find a black press company. That's all we need.
I
We make our own companies, everything else but a press.
Right. I found.
Do with Amazon, we gotta have a press.
Right. I found. Well, actually, I didn't find them. Somebody sent them to me, and that's one of our main objectives is to get away from Amazon and start publishing our own books. You know, by investing in a printing press and learning everything that it takes to publish a book. So we're definitely, and that's definitely something in the future that we plan on doing. I can't say when, but I'm just saying sometime in the near future, that's what we plan on doing. But for those that want to use, that want to write and use KDP, and most of your scholars today, some of your favorite scholars today use the same process that Shawn and we also use, Asar, Himhotep, Wu Jowl, Brother Unc West, Benjamin, Njie, and other authors. Even I think if Ladosha's still on here, Ladosha used it for her children book. The process is easy to upload. Its process is easy to upload your cover. Now the only process is, hold on, I'll let you go. The only process is the making sure that everything is in line with Amazon, and they are good with flagging your information when you upload it. They're gonna let you know if you got errors. If your paragraphs is out of the box, if your pictures is out of the box, if it's not a high quality in the pictures, so they're good with helping you fix your errors, where you can go back and redo it and upload it till you get it right. But they're not gonna let you move until you meet KDP Amazon standards. But it's a good way, it's easy, it's quick, it's fast, and within the process, the steps will take you no less than 10 minutes if you know what you're doing to get it right, especially if you don't have any errors.
Yeah, and like I was telling you guys in that first book, not knowing, my homeboy in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, shout out to Ghost, made this cover for me, right? He's a dope artist. But I didn't know at that time, it gotta be a certain BPI. I didn't know what that even meant, BPI. I'm not a computer wheel. A certain BPI and the pixels and all that. So it got rejected 7 times.
Yeah.
It got rejected 7 times. My manuscript, as far as the layout, it was certain things in it that I didn't know about as far as all of that. Got rejected multiple times. But now we got it down to a science to where, like I said earlier, I put something out right now, it's on Amazon tonight. You know, we got it down to a science now, but that's that trial and error process, man.
Right. That's definitely.
And back to 10,000 hours, because guess what? You can go on YouTube right now and look at how to make a KDP cover, right? You can go on YouTube and find out how you get all these different templates for the interior of a book. You can go and find all this stuff for free on the World Wide Web. But your ability to be proficient at using it, it's a different conversation.
Right, you got to put in those hours. Right, and
trust me, lately I've been practicing trying to make my own book covers, right? My homeboy Cliff does all the covers you see on Amazon, all my digital flyers. Cliff does it a computer whiz. He's Tony Starks, not me. But I've been trying to practice, get my little book cover game up. I made some little okay covers, but it's nowhere near a Cliff cover. I got the same apps on my phone. I got the same kind of phone. I just can't do it the way Cliff do it. Because Cliff has spent that 10,000 hours, man. So,
right.
Just like hip hop, be careful out there. It is a lot easier now than it was in the past, but it allows a lot of trash to get into the game too. It gets oversaturated with not so good projects, man. So make sure your project A1. That's all I would say.
Right. So, well, hold on. And see some of these things. Okay. After coming up with the ideals, writing your chapters, editing, putting books together, publishing your books, what did you learn about yourself in the process of putting these books together, man?
I learned that I have more patience than what I realized. I have more endurance than what I realized. I had to be, like they say in the Bible, right? I had to be long suffering. Once again, there was a lot of sacrifice. There was a lot of things put on the back burner and put on hold to make this thing come true. But I wanted it so bad, and I had the ability to see my goal to completion. That was a real milestone for me, man. Like, I don't know what's more important, my masters or this book. I don't know what I feel is the most important thing I did in my life to this point. Because both of them took years to do, and I have a lot of pride in both of those parts of my life, man.
No doubt, no doubt. And I'll ask one more question if any other brothers have something they can ask. But can you give some advice, man, to up and coming authors and writers?
Okay, easy. Y'all ready?
Mm-hmm.
What do you read? It's the question. What do you read? So many people want to have a Starbucks meeting at 2 o'clock with me for an hour or whatever. They want to call me on the phone for 4 or 5 hours. And whenever I ask them, well, what do you read? I mean, I don't really read books. So you want to write a book, but you don't really read books. So how do you know what a correct paragraph even supposed to look like? How do you know what a forward supposed to look like? How do you know what an index supposed to look like if you've never even really seen one?
Mm-hmm.
It's like wanting to play basketball, but you don't watch Michael Jordan, you don't watch Kobe, you don't watch LeBron, but you want to play basketball at a high level? Like, how that go together? So my advice to the readers, the author Ernest Gaines, rest in peace. Ernest Gaines told me one time at one of his book signings, I asked that question to him about writing. He said, read, 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 read widely, and when you're done reading, then you can write. That's the world-renowned Ernest Gaines told me that about 4 years ago at one of his book signings here in Louisiana. Read, 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 and then when you finish reading, then you can write.
That's some good advice, man. That's some great advice, man. Any one of your other brothers, man, got anything, man, for Brother Seanathan? Brother Shawn, because I know I just said his name wrong.
It's all good, my brother.
Yeah, I'm gonna share my, go ahead, T'Challa.
One more thing on the self-defense tip, and mixing that with the philosophy of being an author in terms of one. I know you're familiar with what I'm about to bring up, Brother Shawn. There's a fighter out of Baltimore, young boy, Gervonta Tank Davis. I mean, he's that man with them hands, okay? And he a southpaw, which makes him like Earl Spence Jr., like just ugly with it, okay? So one of the things recently, his trainer, Calvin Ford, had a video, and he was snapping off in the gym. He had a couple brothers in the ring sparring, and I guess the brothers before him was sparring, and those that are no stranger to sparring, we know that there are certain rules that come in place when you sparring, right? Just no different than building. Like, we all chop it up. We, Kofi Piesie research team, we truly are a brotherhood. We're a family. And we build about things, and certain times, maybe the build might get a little more anxious, a little more, rambunctious, might be a little scrap, might be a little street fight a little bit, I feel like black people need to, and I feel like black, and we all passionate, right? We all men, we all got two hands, right? Yeah. So, but in sparring, you can't take nothing personal. See, because if you hit me, if you that check hook, how I'm gonna get up off the floor? You don't put me on the floor. So I get up after the check hook, and now I'm ready to take it to the next. Now I really want to start throwing haymakers. I throw all of the fundamentals out the door, right? What Brother Unc West say, you run out of bullets in a gunfight, you start throwing your gun, right? So we cannot take things personal as authors when we get that critique that you talk about. Like, we're looking forward not only to all the way now. We're so thankful for Sister LaDosha, Brother Kevin Chill, I mean, making sure that we even made that connection and getting us over there. Like, so many individuals, yourself, that have been supporting us for so long, even before writing, and those that have started to support us with our publications. We cannot take it personal when the critiques come. No different than you can't take sparring personal, because you're supposed to get it together, keep it tight. If you get me with that check hook, or if you catch me, you know what I'm saying, with my hands down, catch me caught texting, you caught me with my head down. I'm supposed to keep the phone by the ear. Like you were supposed to check me with that, and I'm supposed to thank you for making sure that, because I'm supposed to have your 6 and you're supposed to have mine. We all in this fight together. We all trying to do what we trying to do, and I feel like that's just an important thing that people kind of may not have gotten from what you said. You know, like they reading the page and they say, "Oh, you're supposed to have a comma, or your punctuation, your grammar, your the way you led into that was kind of confusing." And we get all in our feelings, right? But in sparring, man, look, you the bell ring, okay, switch out, next person get in there. You know what you need to do tomorrow when you get in the gym then. You see what I'm saying? You need to be in the mirror pivoting. Whatever it is that you didn't do that day before, that's what you're supposed to get in the ring and work on the next day. And I feel that that's just an important point that we all have, no matter what it is we're doing, is to not take so much personal. And I'm speaking from experience. I have to work on my character with this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking at the world pointing my finger. I'm saying it for me first, because that's what I see.
I want to add something to that. I did a video on Facebook about 2 days ago about a topic something like this, right? It's about constructive criticism and who do you take criticism from, right? So now this whole panel, we're all authors now. And Brother Kofi said, hey, Shawn, I read the Butterfly Effect and I saw on page 18, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna really consider that because he is an author as well. And certain other people that have written works are telling me something, I'm gonna really consider that. Now, if a person gives me a critique just to be a butthole, they've never written a proper Facebook post, let alone a book. They've never gone through the publication process. I'm gonna kind of sort of take that critique with a grain of salt, like, all right, I appreciate that. But, you guys are my peers now, and my brother Cliff, my brother Keith, I mentioned earlier, they can give me a real hard critique, and I take it like, man, I gotta tighten up. But if somebody just on social media for no reason, just typing crazy about something I wrote, I don't take that personally at all, man, because it's like, all right, well,
Right, that's a good example.
Get a critique from,
Right. That's a good example, right? You get it from somebody that's qualified, basically. You're right. And we had someone who was qualified, So, and definitely that's.
Dr. Mayat said something years ago, and it stuck to my mind, right? She said something like, to be certified, you must be qualified. No, to be certified, you must be qualified by somebody that is verified or something like that, man. It was so beautiful. It was like, the person got to be an A1 verified person to critique you to get certified.
Right.
And if you're not a verified A1 person, I don't really want to hear what you got to say, to me.
Right. Me too.
I don't want to hear it.
Me too. Yeah, man. Real quick, I got on a stream, man. This was what we supposed to have been doing earlier on, man, when the show started, but I was so excited and jumped straight into the presentation, and I actually want to go through, which we'll start doing too. I want to establish what an author and what a writer is, and what our goal is as authors, and what the goal is as far as putting this show together. We're bringing great interviews to you, in which this is a great interview that we did with Brother Seanathan, man. We appreciate you, man, for coming on the panel. I told y'all this was going to be a great interview, but each show we want to dedicate on the author's perspective. We want to dedicate whether amongst the living or whether has transitioned. We want to honor our author. So today on this show, we are honoring and dedicating this show to Asa G. Hilliard. And Asa Hilliard was a professor at Georgia State University. He also taught African history, African culture, tradition. He also was into psychology. He has a degree in psychology. He also taught urban education at another university. And these are some of the publications that he wrote. A lot of them y'all have heard us talk about. Well, one of them in particular, The Teachers of Ptah-hotep, the oldest book in the world. So this is one of the books you have seen, especially when we did last year, we did a whole series on good character and moral ethics. So we talked and we pulled from numerous pages in that book. Also, I read the book, you know, and I know a lot of y'all familiar with it because we talk about it a lot on the platform, but I also read The Maroon Within Us a few years ago, which is a great book full of essays. So I highly recommend that book, Knowledge Itself, that he with Nama Akbar, Saber's Saber, The Reawakening of the African Mind. I need to reread that book. That book has some nice, powerful information in that book. I read that book a few years. African Power, the infusion of African American content in school curriculum, proceeding the First National Conference. These are some of the other publications that he wrote. I'll just pause it real quick, but these are some of the other publications that he was also involved with here. So the brother has a long list. Again, Shawn talked about John Henry Clark. We mentioned Dr. Ben. He also ran with those ancestors as well. And even we know in that era that he was in, those ancestors, they produced a lot of work. They knew how important it was to produce work. And also when you talk about an author is a creator. An author is a producer. So they created and they produced content for us, which goes to real quick, which we'll be using on this platform, this African proverb: until the lion learns to write every story, will glorify, the hunter will glorify, I messed it up, until the lion learns to write every story. Dang, I gotta get that right. And see, that's what I get, man, when you are trying to, I'm a night owl, so I'm always up and I wanna go ahead and get this proverb straight. Let me pull it up real quick. And I make a lot of mistakes when it's nighttime. When I'm up, that's where I get it in. Most of the time, I'm up trying to read. I'm up trying to write. And go ahead.
Yeah, no, while you pulling it up, I want to say it real quick because I was in those hallways. I was in those institutions. Whenever you mention a lot of these African scholars in the world of psychology and all of that, they are not acknowledged whatsoever. These professors are not really trying to hear that. These schools are not really trying to hear that. So it's important, whatever field you in as far as study, you got to find that African perspective on that particular field of study, man. Whether that be medicine, psychology, whatever your field is, you got to find the African point of view on that subject matter.
Right. And the proverb is, until a lion tells his side of the story, the tale of the hunt will always glorify the hunter. And I have to change that. And I've seen that it's so powerful. And that is the reason why we must produce more writers, because so we can tell our side of the story. You see, a lot of us is not writing and we letting outsiders tell our side of the story. And if I conquer another group of people, I'm always going to write how great we were and how primitive another group of people will. So it's always going to be a bias, going to always be a bias there. So we have to produce more writers to tell our side of the story and also tell the right information and not the wrong information. So we must produce more writers. And hopefully from this show that we continue on doing, that we help people and answer the questions that for these upcoming writers, or inspire people to even become writers, so we can produce more writers.
Let's say it right quick, my brother.
Yeah, go ahead.
COVID-19 going on right now, so of course, you guys, books that's coming out, you ever had a chance to go on the road and get into these schools, man. But I tell you what, whenever them little black babies start seeing guys that look like you and the rest of the panel and look like me in front of them, I don't know about you in the schools you went to as a kid, but growing up from kindergarten through high school, I never had a black author come to the school. I never experienced that before.
Mm-hmm.
So my whole time with this book, I don't know, I went to countless schools with this book, and I'm standing there looking like them, talking like them. My lingo is their lingo, and they're looking like, man, you know, I could be a writer one day. You seeing the guy from the same school you went to. I was in the same hallways. I went to the same corner stores. I played ball in the same gym, and I chose to do something with my mind. That's an option. You can be a writer. It's not far-fetched. So the more you guys get on that road whenever that time comes, y'all get into these schools, you're going to do just that what you just said, bro. You're going to inspire some more minds, man. Y'all will. Y'all will.
No doubt. And the last, as I learn, we all learn. And this is the motto too, what we know as published authors, we want to share this information with you and get you up to speed, knowing how to, like he said, what is a introduction, what is a prologue, what is a forward, what is a dedicated forward, what is a acknowledgement, how to lay out a book, you know, what is the standard font, you know, the sizes, you know, on the publications ends, you know, what to do for the publication end. We'll get later on as we continue on with how to properly do citations, you know, the proper way to, you know, paragraphs, commas, the processing of editing, or who you could possibly get to do the editing. So we're gonna get into all that, even the book covers, like brother said, he's trying to do it. So he's putting in the hours, because we do over here, we do basically damn near everything. You know, we do everything.
Y'all got quality product, man. I got y'all first book. I will get number 2, by the way. But that's a quality product through and through. As an author to author, I totally salute that project. It was an A1 project, man. That's totally good. Man, that second cover, oh man, that color y'all use.
Yeah,
man, that's a good look, bro.
Appreciate it.
Good look, in my opinion.
Yeah,
that's A1.
Appreciate it.
That's A1.
So, appreciate it. So again, both copies are available now. Kofi Piesie on KofiPiesie.com, KofiPiesieTV.com, and Amazon.com. If you hadn't got the copy, please go get those copies. Also, brother Sutekh has been putting brother Shawn's publications, all 3 of his publications, he's been loading it up in the chat. So please click the links in the chat and go and download those books. Again, they are very, very affordable. So go support our brother and pick up all 3 of his publications. Again, I'm gonna start sharing my screen, brother. We appreciate, we definitely appreciate you for coming on the first show, Author's Perspective, man. It was a great interview, man. We appreciate you, man, for coming on the panel, man. We definitely gonna be supporting you, man. We definitely gonna get give out your next publication. You said it'll be coming within the week. What is the name of the your newest book?
This next book number 4, is called Expanding Your Vision, The Hero's Journey. Expanding Your Vision, The Hero's Journey. That's book number 4 in the novella series. And yeah, man, it's coming real soon, bro. I got the cover for it already and everything, man. We rocking and rolling. That should be up this week. Book number 4. You ready?
Okay.
You ready?
All right.
Written, already edited. It's ready to be uploaded, man.
All right. No doubt. So y'all make sure y'all go and get that. It'll be on Amazon Kindle. So Amazon Kindle. Yeah, Amazon Kindle. So definitely. Right, the next mixtape. So definitely go and support that brother. He's doing a good job, man. I'm glad to know the brother. I'm glad we brought him on the panel to interview this brother, to jump off the first show of African Perspective. I know I learned a lot. I hope y'all learned a lot as well. Also be on the lookout again for this brother's work this week. Also be on the lookout in September for something that's coming out for the children. And then also be looking out for something that's coming for the children in October, and then another publication at the end, and then volume 3, which will be coming November, hopefully November the 28th. It's gonna be the 26th, 27th, 28th, one of those days. But also be on the lookout for that, and hopefully we'll have something else. Yeah. So again,
that sounds good, don't it? It's like the old hip hop did, man. Nas dropping, did Jay-Z dropping, did so and so. That's
yeah.
We getting back to that. We're doing it with literature, though. You know what I'm saying? We're doing it with the words, man.
Right, man. So again, we'll appreciate you for joining the panel. Y'all make sure that y'all go and check out this brother's publications. Get all of his publications. I have 2. I don't have the first one. I'm gonna get them. Actually today I'm gonna go and order the hard copy today, or I can get it through you. You got some copies?
Yeah. So anybody want a hard copy, inbox me, email me, whatever you got to do. I get you an autographed copy, man. I love autographing. I get you an autographed copy, my brother.
Okay, no doubt. Right, I gotta get mine. So get yours, y'all. Get y'all. So, and his other publications, again, go to Amazon Kindle. They're very affordable. Download those books.
I'm easy to reach on Facebook and Instagram is my full name. You see it on the screen, Seanathan Polidore, Instagram and Facebook. I pride myself on being accessible. You can email me, inbox me, whatever. If I can call you, I'm gonna call you on the phone, answer your question as much as I can. And I'm always open door, man, open book.
Well, give out your email address if they're trying to reach you through your email.
My email is Shawn, SEAN, Polidore, POLIDORE @gmail.com. Shawn Polidore @gmail.com. I'll answer your questions fast as I can, man. Fast as I can.
Any of your brothers got anything, man, before we wrap the show up, man, in the show?
Nah, man, this was a good show. I really appreciated it. I can't wait for the next few shows to come about, and this is gonna be the start of something great. I appreciate the brother Shawn for coming on and kicking it with us, man. And make sure y'all get all his publications. Like Kofi said, make sure you get volume 1, Spears of the Mossi. Make sure you get volume 2 from Spears to Pens, and be on the lookout for more to come from all of us.
Brother T'Challa, Brother September.
Yeah, I just want to say, it's always a pleasure. Like I say, from the greats that have been doing it since long before we was even a thought in anybody's mind, before our parents was parents. We got brothers and sisters who've been putting out literature all the way back to the first writing system in Kemet. And this is what inspires us, and everybody in between, all the way up until now. We're following that legacy of all of the greats that each one of us can name. And we all have to do this and come together. No matter what happens, if somebody else is also doing what you're doing, then why not go ahead and come together? That was how Black Wall Street was created, okay? We decided that, look, we all need to have something.
Dropped out. You just stopped. You done dropped out. You T'Challa. He done dropped out. Something might have happened. What about you? We'll get back to him if he get back in. Get his issue. What about you, Sutekh and Ra?
Yeah, man. I want to thank the brother Shawn for being on the panel. I said your name wrong in the beginning because that's how Kofi said it, but I should have known it was wrong. I was like, oh man, the way he said, the way he pronounced it, I could see it on the screen. So I'm like, it's like T'Challa say, man, it's a language thing, man. You see something and you think it's that, and it really ain't. So first and foremost, want to apologize for that because we definitely want to get the names correct. So I'm gonna just say, brother Shawn, if that's comfortable with you.
Oh yeah, man, it's good, man. It's good.
Yeah, I appreciate you for getting on the panel. being the first author on our show. We definitely appreciate you, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna look into your works and get some spend some money with you, man. Get this economy flowing, you know, get the Black economy flowing. So yeah, man, I appreciate you.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you.
T'Challa, you back? If not, you can email it. I guess he's having technical difficulty, but again, man, we appreciate you. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Again, we hope this was, you know, inspired someone, you know what I'm saying, answer some questions for someone, man. And we'll see y'all September the 6th. We'll be back with Author's Perspective. We'll be interviewing Black Panther, who y'all know is Benjamin Njie, who is the founder of Mossi Warrior Clan. He has 3 publications, and you know, we're excited about that as well. So tune in again. Peace and Black African power. I want to say Shem Imhotep. Shem Imhotep just means to depart in peace. So we'll see y'all next time.
Peace.